The quarter wave transformer matching circuit is especially used when we want to match real valued impedance to a given transmission line with specific characteristic impedance. So here, first of all, we will see what is this quarter wave transformer matching circuit and its features, and then we will see a simple procedure to implement this quarter wave transformer matching circuit. And then for example, we will solve one exercise based on quarter wave transformer impedance matching. So first of all, let us discuss what are the features that the quarter wave transformer matching circuit is going to offer to us. So first of all, it is a very simple matching circuit, and it is only used to match a given real value of load impedance to the characteristic impedance of the transmission line. Okay, so you can say that this is the advantage, also a disadvantage also. Okay, because quarter wave transformers are only utilized to match a given value of real value of load impedance to the transmission line. So the second feature is it is going to make use of a lambda by 4 length of transmission line. So for its operation, it is going to make use of a piece of a transmission line. Okay, the length of transmission line is always fixed, and it is lambda by 4. Okay, and the value of lambda by 4 comes out to be 0.25. So that's why the name is given to this matching circuit as a quarter wave. So lambda by 4, it is a quarter of one wavelength. So that's why this type of piece of transmission line, whenever it is used as a matching element, the name is given as a quarter wave transformer. Okay. So let us see what are the procedure to implement this type of a matching circuit. Okay. So in the third step, we are going to discuss the operation, how to implement the quarter wave transformer matching circuit in order to match the given value of load impedance. Okay. So first of all, if we have been given a complex load impedance, we need to first convert it. So this is a very important thing. Okay. So please remember, quarter wave transformer is only used to match the real valued impedance to the transmission line. So if we are provided with a complex load, then first we need to convert that complex load into real value of load. Okay, so that can be done, so that we will see within no time now. So a complex load can be always converted into a real valued load by inserting a suitable piece of a transmission line. Now please remember over here, this piece of a transmission line which we are going to make use to convert the complex load impedance into real valued impedance is not same as that of the quarter wave transformer. So quarter wave transformer is also a piece of a transmission line, but its length is always lambda by 4. Okay. In order to convert the complex load impedance to the real value, we need to insert suitable length of a transmission line. Okay. So that will ensure that the given value of complex load impedance will get converted into real value of impedance. The next procedure is then we measure what is the value of real impedance value, okay, on the real axis. Okay, and then with this value we will find out what is the required value of characteristic impedance of the quarter wave transformer. Okay, so these are the simple steps. So we will explain it first, and then step by step we will execute, and I will show it to you how to design this matching circuit. Okay, the next step is, once you found out the characteristic impedance of the quarter wave transformer, the real impedance which we got on the real axis, it has to be normalized with the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer. Okay, and from that point we will insert a lambda by 4 transmission line. Okay, and this is actually the quarter wave transformer which will take the real value of impedance to the characteristic impedance of a transmission line to which we desire. Okay, so on the real axis we will read the value of impedance whenever this quarter wave transformer is going to intersect on real axis, and then we denormalize the real value with a characteristic impedance of transformer, so that ultimately it will be resulting into the characteristic impedance of a transmission line. Okay, so next step, how this particular circuit look like. Okay, So in order to discuss, the circuit will look like this. So I will put in a presentation mode. So the quarter wave transformer, how it looks like. Okay. So this is the principle of design of quarter wave transformer. So here the diagram, the illustration clearly shows you what is the principle involved in design of quarter wave transformer. Okay. So we will start from the right hand side over here, where we have been given with a complex load impedance value. Okay. This complex load impedance we want to match on the left hand side over here with a transmission line. The characteristic impedance of a transmission line is 50 ohm, or it is indicated with a Z0 nominally. Okay. So our aim is to match this complex load impedance with the transmission line characteristic impedance. Okay. So first of all, we already discussed that the quarter wave transformer is only used to match the real value of load impedance. Now here the given load impedance is a complex. So first we need to do one task, one additional procedure. What we do is here, from the given load impedance, we will insert one transmission line. Okay. So here we insert a transmission line which will convert this complex load impedance into real valued load impedance. Okay. So this procedure we will do it and we will see that. Okay. So this complex value of load impedance, that is ZL, will get converted into real value of load impedance, which is given by ZL real. Okay. Now this impedance is taken, okay, and a characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer is then calculated. Okay. So how the quarter wave characteristic impedance is given? It is given by Z of lambda by 4. Okay. So it is given as a square root of the real valued complex load impedance. Please remember, we have inserted a transmission line over here. So when we insert a transmission line over here, the complex load impedance will get converted into only real value. Now we take that real value of load impedance, multiply it with the characteristic impedance of the given transmission line, and we will take a square root. Okay. And this will give me the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer. Okay. Then we take the length of quarter wave transformer always equal to lambda by 4, which will transform the real value of impedance on the right hand side to the characteristic impedance value on the left hand side. So in this way, if we look into the quarter wave transformer on the right hand side, we will always find that the characteristic impedance is matched with the transmission line, and we will ensure that the signal will propagate only in a forward direction. Okay. So this is just a simple principle which illustrates the use of a quarter wave transformer matching circuit. So please remember, in some of the cases, the given load of a impedance will only have a real value. At that time, this job will become more simpler, because we need not to insert the transmission line in that particular case, because we have been directly supplied with the real value of load impedance. If the load impedance is a complex, then first we need to insert a transmission line which will take the complex load impedance to real valued load impedance, ZL real. And then this real valued load impedance will be transformed to the characteristic impedance of a transmission line by inserting a quarter wave transformer over here, whose length is lambda by 4 and whose characteristic impedance is given with this particular equation. Okay. So this is a simple illustration diagram which elaborates how to make use of a quarter wave transformer for matching a real value of load impedance with the transmission line. Okay. So we go next and let us see one typical example. Okay. So here we are supposed to solve one particular example. Now this will provide us the information about how to design a quarter wave transformer. Okay. So we will design this matching circuit using a plain impedance Smith chart. So I hope you people are ready with your Smith chart, right? And we will be using an impedance Smith chart or Z Smith chart in order to design this matching circuit, right? So first of all, I will read out this problem statement. The problem statement is given as: design a quarter wave transformer matching circuit to match a complex load impedance. Now here the complex load impedance is given to us, please remember. So here it is a complex load impedance. The value of this complex load impedance is 50 plus J70 ohm. Now we need to match this load impedance to the transmission line whose characteristic impedance is 50 ohm. Okay. Now here it is clearly mentioned that first convert the complex load to the real valued load by inserting suitable length of a transmission line with Z0 is equal to 50 ohm. Find the characteristic impedance of quarter wave section and then what is the length of this quarter wave section. So these are the two questions. So in the solution, first of all, we will write the given things. Please remember here, we need not to specify any frequency. So that's why the transmission line matching is very important and beneficial. Here, we do not need to specify any particular value of a frequency because everything we are going to calculate in terms of a wavelength, remember. So the given values are the complex load impedance 50 plus J70 ohm and the characteristic impedance of a transmission line, that is 50 ohm. Okay, so with this information we go ahead. Okay, so this is the procedure now. So what I will do is, I hope you people are there with your brand new Z type of a Smith chart and the required tools and accessories. Okay, so I request you people to be there with your paper impedance Smith chart with pen, compass, pencil, eraser, colored pens if possible. Okay, all these things. So I request you people to take out one Smith chart, paper Smith chart, impedance type of Smith charts, because I am going to solve this example on Z chart. Okay, so I will open a new brand Z chart. Now please always keep a practice of using a separate Smith chart for separate example. Okay, so that it will keep the entire Smith chart design work neat, and later on if you refer you can quickly come to know the design work, right? So I will open a Z chart now. I'm using a simple impedance chart to design this problem. Okay, so in front of you I open this Smith chart now. Maximize it. Okay, so this is a Smith chart, Z Smith chart we are using, right? Okay, what you need to do is, first of all, we will follow the steps which are given in the slideshow. I will open this slide. So what is the first step in the solution? First of all, we normalize. So whenever we want to enter the given complex load impedance, we need to normalize and plot. So first step is normalize and plot the given value of load impedance. Okay, so that is 50 plus J70 divided by 50. So what value we will get? 1 plus 1.4 J. So real value and imaginary value. Now you already know how to plot this particular point with the help of real value and imaginary value. So it will come in the upper half of the Smith chart as it is having a positive reactance value. So the normalized value of load impedance is real part 1 and imaginary part 1.4 positive. Okay, so I will come to the Smith chart. So I will plot the point directly. Okay, 1 plus 1.4 J. So 1 means the resistance circle of value 1, right? And 1.4 J is indicating the reactance. So I will zoom in into the Smith chart in order to locate that point. Okay, so I hope that you people are there with your own Smith chart, so you follow the steps that I am doing and come with me along with solving these steps. So this is a resistance circle of 1 and we need to find intersection with reactance curve of 1.4. So here if you are following the cursor movement, you will find that it is a 1.4 curve over here. Okay, so we need to find intersection of this curve 1.4 with a resistance constant resistance value of 1. Okay, so somewhere here that is a point. So I will plot this point. I will use a black color to plot the point. Right, I will increase the brightness of the screen so that it is visible to us. So 1 and 1.4 So approximately here it comes. Okay, so this is that particular point. Please remember, you make a dot over there. Okay, and what is this point? This point is our ZL bar. Okay, so I will name over here. So this point is, so I will write here ZL bar. What this is indicating? This is indicating the normalized value of load impedance. Now you can clearly see that it is located on a circle of value 1 real and imaginary value 1.4 at the intersection. Okay, so next step is what? Next step is to connect this point with the center of a Smith chart. Okay, so the second step is read the wavelength towards generator value at the plotted load impedance and insert a constant VSWR circle passing through it. Okay, so the next step is we want to find what is the value of wavelength towards generator at this plotted point, because we need to find, this is a load impedance, okay, and this load impedance is a complex load impedance. So we want to convert this load impedance to real value. So where is the real value? Real value is this horizontal axis, right? So what we want is we want to bring this point, complex load impedance ZL bar, on the real axis. When it comes on the real axis, it intersects the real axis somewhere. So that value, wherever it intersects the real axis, is going to give us the real value of that impedance. Okay, and how to do that? To do that, first of all, we need to read the wavelength towards generator scale. Now, as I explained in earlier fundamental basics of the Smith chart, the wavelength towards generator scale is the outermost scale. See here, you just follow the cursor movement. So the outermost scale of the Smith chart is representing the wavelength towards generator scale. So our aim is to measure what is the wavelength towards generator scale at point ZL bar. Okay, so how to do that then? So to measure that wavelength towards generator scale, take a ruler or scale. Okay, I will choose a different color to mark the scale. Okay, so I will choose this yellow color. Okay, so what you do is take your scale or ruler, right? Join the ZL bar point, the complex load impedance point, with the center of the Smith chart. Okay, so what I'm saying, join the complex load impedance point with the center of the Smith chart. Okay, and draw a line extending on the external boundary of the Smith chart. So you start from ZL, Z0 point or the center of the Smith chart from here, and draw along with me a line, straight line passing through ZL bar, and extend that line on the periphery till here. Remove the scale. Okay, so here what we observe, we have drawn a straight line which is passing through the center of the Smith chart. Now I will denote the center of the Smith chart as a matched point, because our ultimate aim is to reach at the center of the Smith chart. So this is representing Z0, the center point of the Smith chart, right? So here it is passing through the ZL bar, and we have extended that line on the periphery of the Smith chart. And here we know that what is the wavelength towards generator scale? We need to read the outermost scale wherever that straight line is intersecting. Okay, so here you can clearly observe, I will zoom into this region. See here, I will zoom in. So where the straight line is intersecting the outermost scale, so it is 0.17 over here, and next we have one division and it is crossing around second division. Okay, so approximately wavelength toward generator scale over here, what we found is 0.173 lambda. You can take 0.174 lambda also, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so here approximately I will write the value of WTG. So I will write here the WTG value, WTG. Okay, so what value of WTG I got here? I got 0.173 lambda. Please remember, we need to specify in terms of a lambda. Okay, so I will zoom out now. So here you need to specify what is the intersection of that line on outermost scale so that we will get a WTG. So write down that wavelength towards generator value over here. So the same I highlighted over here. So we got the wavelength towards generator value 0.173 lambda. Okay. So what is the next step to calculate the piece of a length of a transmission line? So what we want is now this ZL bar complex load impedance I want to convert to real value. How to convert this to a real value? We need to bring this ZL bar point on the real axis. Okay. So for that purpose, we need to draw a constant VSWR circle which is passing through ZL bar. Okay. So I will take a compass. Okay. So what you do is take your compass now. Put the metallic part of your compass on the center of the Smith chart. Exactly. Take distance in your compass from the center of Smith chart. Take distance in your compass from the center of the Smith chart to ZL bar point. Okay. And draw a constant radius VSWR circle. So I will choose here color different. I will take this green color, lime green color. Okay, so what you do is put your compass at the center of Smith chart, metallic part. Take distance in a compass equal to center of the Smith chart to ZL bar point and draw a constant radius VSWR circle. So I will draw it now. Okay, so from here I will draw so that the label becomes visible. You can draw it continuously if you want. Okay, so what I have drawn here, I have drawn now a constant VSWR circle which is passing through that ZL bar. Okay, so zoom in the Smith chart. Now please remember, from ZL bar you keep your pencil on ZL bar and start traveling clockwise. Please remember, you need to start traveling clockwise on this green VSWR circle. Okay, so till you intersect real axis somewhere. Okay, so wherever we intersect with a real axis, okay, so that intersection point over here is this one. Okay, so this intersection point will give us the piece of a transmission line. Okay, so what we have done, we have converted the complex load impedance value, so which is available over here, we brought that value on the real axis. Okay, so let us call this point as let us call this as a Z1 bar. Okay, so this Z1 bar value you need to read. What is the value? See here, Z1 bar, you whenever you take the value from the Smith chart, please remember it is always a normalized value. So it is intersecting. So what is the value here over here? It is a 3 point. I will zoom in a little bit so that we can read the value. So here it is intersecting wherever I mark the black color dot over here. Okay, so that is a Z1 bar. So that we got the intersection with a real axis. So that this particular ZL bar point got converted into real value. Okay, and the imaginary value is removed. Okay, so here what is the value, normalized value? The normalized value is, it is 3, 3.2, 3.4, 3.6. It is around 3.7. Okay, so it is around 3.7. Right, so this 3.7 multiplied by 50 ohm. Okay, so 3.7, so Z1 bar. Okay, so 3.7 multiplied by 50 ohm. So here I will write the denormalized value. I will write. Okay, I will reduce the weight. So thus this value is equal to, okay, 3.7 multiplied by 50, because we need to denormalize it in order to read it into 50. Okay, so it approximately gives 185 ohms. Okay, so here what we have done, we have converted the load impedance complex value to a real value of 185 ohm. Now here you need to read what is the value of wavelength towards generator. Okay, so what is the value of wavelength towards generator? Now if you observe over here clearly on the right hand side, okay, so here on this particular point the wavelength towards generator value is 0.25. Okay, so wavelength towards generator value is 0.25. So I will put a marking over here. So I will take a scale again. Okay, take your scale. Okay, make it horizontal. Okay, and bring it on a real axis. And from Z1 point, you draw a line horizontally. Okay, so I will choose a different color again. I will choose a yellow color. And from Z1 bar, you draw a straight line which intersect over here. And at this point you read what is the value of WTG. So here I will zoom in the area. Okay, so what is the outermost scale mentioned over here? The outermost scale is a 0.25 lambda. Okay, so here I will write that value. Okay, so here what is the value of WTG? So here WTG is 0.25 lambda. It is clearly visible over here. Okay, so what is the length of the transmission line which will convert this complex load impedance to the real load impedance of 185? You need to take simply the difference of 0.25 and 0.173. Okay, so this difference, so here I will mark that length of the transmission line. Okay, so here from this point to this point, this will give the length of a transmission line L, which will convert 0.25, take the difference 0.25 minus 0.173. So the value we will get 0.25 minus 0.173 in the step number 5. So if we take the difference, the length of the transmission line, we get 0.077 lambda. Okay, so here I will write. So what is this length? Length is equal to 0.077 lambda. Okay, so this length of the transmission line which will convert the complex load impedance into real load impedance is 0.077 lambda. Okay, so we have converted the load impedance which was complex into a real value. Okay, so what is the next step then? Next step is to calculate the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer. Okay, so come back to the slide. So here next is to calculate the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer section. Okay, so how to calculate characteristic impedance of a lambda by 4 section? You need to take product of this Z1 value, so that is 185, with 50 ohm and take the square root. Okay, so when we do that, so square root of what we do is square root of Z1 is 185 ohm multiplied by Z0, that is 50 ohm, and take the square root, we will get the characteristic impedance of that particular quarter wave transformer nearly around 96.17 ohm, right? Once we got the characteristic impedance of the quarter wave transformer, the next step is normalize the value of a Z1. Now you normalize this value of Z1 with the characteristic impedance of quarter wave transformer. Okay, so what is the value of quarter wave transformer characteristic impedance? Z of lambda by 4 that we have calculated, it is 96.17. So what you do is divide 185 by 96.17. Okay, and locate the intermediate point indicated by Z2. So 185 divided by 96.17, you will get around 1.92. Okay, locate this on the real axis. So come to the Smith chart. So 185 we will divide by 96. Okay, so approximately we will get a value 1.92. Okay, come to the Smith chart and look at this point. So where is a 1.92? Okay, so 1.92 is somewhere here on the real axis in between 1.8 and 2. So it is 1.9, and somewhere here I will choose the black color again, and somewhere here that is the Z2 point. Okay, so here this particular point is Z2 bar. Okay, and the value of Z2 bar is 1.92. Please remember, this is equal to how much? 1.92. Okay, so this is normalized value. Okay, this is a normalized value. So what you do is from this point, you insert a lambda by 4 transmission line. So what is the WTG over here? The WTG over here is 0.25. So if you insert a lambda by 4 transmission line, so lambda by 4 is 0.25. So here the reading is 0.25. Insert a lambda by 4 transmission line means you need to encircle the Smith chart halfway so that you will reach on this particular side. Okay, so here you can observe what is the value. So here the WTG is 0.25 at this particular point. If you add 0.25 into this value of WTG, so 0.25 lambda plus 0.25 lambda, you will get 0.5 lambda. And where is the 0.5 lambda located? Over here on the left hand side real axis. So here if you observe this 0 lambda or 0.5 lambda, one at the same, representing the same. Okay, so here I will denote the other side of the real axis. I will draw it. So I will take the color. Okay, so this is the other side. Okay, so here if you add, so here the WTG is 0.25. If you add lambda by 4 into 0.25 lambda, you will get 0.5 lambda. So when you travel lambda by 4, you will reach on the other side of the real axis. Okay, so what you do is take your compass now. I will take the compass. Put the center metallic part of your compass at the center of the Smith chart. Put the metallic part of the compass at the center of Smith chart, right? Take distance in Smith chart from the center of Smith chart to the point Z2 bar. Okay, so what you do is take your compass, put the metallic part of your compass at the center of Smith chart, take distance in your compass from the center of Smith chart to Z2 bar. Okay, so take this distance and draw a half semicircle on the below side. Okay, so I will choose a different color here. Okay, so let's say I will use this dark purple color, right? And now what you do is you start from Z2 bar, draw a semicircle, and on the right hand side real axis you intersect somewhere. So what I will do is I will start drawing it in this way. Say I am only drawing the semicircle, not the full circle. So this represent a quarter wave transformer. Okay, and then you remove your compass. Okay, so wherever on the other side, say what we have done is we have inserted a lambda by 4 transmission line. So this length of the transmission line, which is shown with this semicircle, it is going to represent a lambda by 4 transmission line. So here I will denote that length of the transmission line. Okay, so the length of this transmission line I will denote with the purple color. Let it be with the purple color. Okay, so this length of the transmission line is lambda by 4. Okay, because here it is the wavelength toward generator is 0.25 lambda. When you add a lambda by 4 into 0.25, you will reach at 0.5 lambda, and here it is nothing but a 0.5 lambda. So here I will write for your understanding, here it is 0.5 lambda. So the left hand side real axis is representing 0.5 WTG. So you have moved from this point to this point by inserting a transmission line, right? So you intersect on the real axis somewhere here. Okay, so come to the Smith chart and the PowerPoint. The next point, from Z2, draw a constant half VSWR circle representing quarter section. So that's why we did. And then you find the intersection of this VSWR circle on the other side of real axis and read normalized real value. Okay, and it is, what is the value wherever it intersects? It will be approximately 0.52. Okay, it will be approximately 0.52. So here I will write that value wherever it intersect. So here I will write that value 0.52. Please remember, it is a normalized value. It is a normalized value. Okay, so this normalized value you need to denormalize. Okay, so denormalize with characteristic impedance of the quarter wave transformer. We know that what is the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer. From the earlier stage, we shown that the characteristic impedance of quarter wave transformer is 96.17. So whatever intersection we found, that is 0.52, multiply 0.52 with a characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer, and approximately you will get the same characteristic impedance value of the transmission line. So in this case, we are getting 50.008. So when you multiply this value, that is 0.52 at the intersection point, we read the value, multiply this value with a characteristic impedance of this quarter wave transformer, you will get 50 ohm. So that from this point you will reach at the center of Smith chart. Okay, so here I will also mention what is the characteristic impedance of lambda by 4 line. So I will write over here Z lambda by 4. So what is the value of characteristic impedance of this transmission line? That is a quarter wave transformer. It is 96.17 ohm. So I will write here 96.17 ohm. Okay, so you need to trace a circle. So I will show how we converted the complex load impedance into Z0. Okay, so in order to show the arrow diagram, I will choose a red color. So first of all, what we did is we plotted the complex load impedance. At that point, we read out what is the wavelength toward generator. Okay, and by taking that much radius, we have drawn a green VSWR circle. Okay, and from ZL bar, we traveled on VSWR circle till we get an intersection with a real axis on this side. So from ZL bar, we went in this way, right? See the arrow direction, how we traveled. Okay, so this particular path will convert the complex load impedance ZL bar into a real valued impedance, that is Z1 bar. Okay, which is shown over here. Okay, then after that, what we did, we found out the length of that required transmission line by subtracting WTG value at ZL bar with 0.25 lambda, and we found that the length is around 0.0177 lambda. Okay, so that is the length of the transmission line required in order to convert complex load impedance into real load impedance. Okay, and thereafterwards, what we did is we calculated what is the real impedance over that point. We normalize that real value of impedance, okay, with a impedance of a quarter wave transformer. But before that, first of all, we should know what is the characteristic impedance of a transmission line of a quarter wave transformer. How to calculate that? 185 multiplied by 50, take the square root, we get the characteristic impedance of a transformer 96.17. So the next step what we did is we normalized this Z1 with characteristic impedance of the quarter wave transformer, and we got a reading 1.92. So that this point got shifted from Z1 bar to Z2 bar. Okay, so from here we came on Z2 bar. at this particular point. Okay, so when you reached over here, what we did is we did to insert, we inserted a transmission line of length lambda by 4 from point 25 on the right hand side. It will bring us to 0.5 on the left hand side real axis. So this is a quarter wave transformer, or the length of this transmission line we have found out to be lambda by 4, and the characteristic impedance of this transformer is 96.17. So from Z2 bar we moved to this particular point on the real axis on the other side of the real axis. So we traveled on this particular line in this way on a quarter wave transformer, please remember. So all the red arrow diagrams, they are showing how we made the movement in order to match the complex load impedance into Z0. So we reached over here. Okay, and then finally we have found out the intersection over here. So the intersection we have found out 0.52. Then we denormalized this value with the characteristic impedance of transformer, that is 96.17 multiplied by 0.52, and we have got the value 50 ohm, and so that from here the impedance will get transformed to the Z0 in this particular direction. Okay, and then ultimately we reached at the center of the Smith chart. Okay, so all these arrow direction, please remember, they indicate how we traveled the path from the given complex load impedance to the center of the Smith chart. From ZL bar intersection with real axis Z1 bar, convert this Z1 bar to Z2 bar by normalizing with characteristic impedance of transformer. From this point, insert a lambda by 4 transmission line in this way, find the intersection on the other side, then denormalize this value with a characteristic impedance of the transmission line, and ultimately we will reach at the center of the Smith chart. Okay, so this is the entire work of the design of quarter wave transformer. Okay, this is the complete design. Okay, so here we will come back, and finally we reach at the center of the Smith chart. Okay, so the whole diagram, if we redraw again, how it can be shown, see this particular diagram, I will put on a presentation mode. Okay, so all the thing which we have done in the Smith chart, it is shown over here. First of all, we started from the right hand side where we have the load impedance 50 plus j70 ohm, right? So from that load impedance, we have inserted a piece of a transmission line which is mentioned over here. So the length of the transmission line we inserted from load impedance is 0.077 lambda. So what it does then, it will convert this complex load impedance to a real value of 185 ohm. So that Z1 we have got 185 ohm. Okay, now this 185 ohm is a real value. We want to match this 185 ohm to the characteristic impedance of a transmission line of 50 ohm using this particular section. Okay, so this particular section is a lambda by 4 transformer. So we need to calculate the characteristic impedance of that transformer, right? So to calculate it, what we need to do is multiply this 185 with 50 ohm and take the square root, so that we will get the characteristic impedance of a quarter wave transformer. Okay, and the length of the quarter wave transformer is always 0.25 lambda. We saw that tracing of a semicircle, which will convert this 185 ohm real value on the other side to 50 ohm. Okay, so please remember, first of all we need to insert a suitable transmission line which will take the complex load impedance into a real valued load impedance, and then this real valued load impedance is then back converted to desired value of transmission line characteristic impedance by inserting a piece of lambda by 4 section, which we call it as a quarter wave transformer section, and we need to write what is the characteristic impedance of that quarter wave transformer. Okay, so this is what the circuit diagram of a quarter wave transformer. Many times if they directly give the real value of the load impedance, then at that time we need not to perform inserting of additional transmission line, because at that time a direct real value of the load impedance will be given. But what if the complex load impedance is given and that we want to match to the transmission line using quarter wave transformer? At that time, we need to insert this additional transmission line over here by selecting a appropriate length. Okay, and this will complete the illustration of the example quarter wave transformer manually. Okay, so the Smith chart we already have over here. So this is that particular Smith chart, right? So this Smith chart is representing the procedure of how to design a quarter wave transformer matching circuit. All the labels, all the tracing and all the graphs are showing the manual operation on the Smith